Good morning. Look at us. This is spectacular. Before I begin, I want to thank our bagpiper, Aidan Dunphy, and the Symphony in C Brass Quintet and conductor Joe Shivo for their stirring music that brought us all together. Please give them a hand. It is now my privilege to welcome you to the commencement ceremony of the Rutgers School of Nursing, Camden. Congratulations to our class of 2014 graduates and to your families. This is a joyful moment for you and a day of celebration for Rutgers. I now ask you to please stand as Miss Dionne Fields sings our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank thank you, Ms. Fields, for your powerful rendition of the national anthem. And everyone can now be seated, please. Before proceeding, I'm going to ask everyone to spend a moment in silence to remember Bright Kotoku, a rising junior nursing student who passed away Monday evening. Bright was a rising star in nursing and a sensitive, kind, and very caring young man. Please remember Bright and his families in your thoughts and prayers, particularly this week. It is now my pleasure to recognize 6 members of the governing boards of Rutgers University who are seated with our distinguished guests on the dais. Marissa Dietrich, Robert Mortensen, George Rears, Sam Rabinowitz, James Rhodes, and Dorothy Stenaitis. They join us in congratulating our graduates and their families on the academic achievements we celebrate today. Would Ms. Dietrich, Mr. Mortensen, Dr. Rabinowitz, Mr. Rears, Mr. Rhodes, and Mrs. Stenaitis please stand to be recognized? Thank you. This is a day of enormous pride for all of us at Rutgers-Camden, and especially at the School of Nursing, as we confer baccalaureate degrees on 72 candidates who comprise the 3rd graduating class from our School of Nursing, the first graduates of our 4-year baccalaureate nursing program, and the last graduating class from the School of Nursing Camden to experience commencement in this lovely venue, the Gordon Theater. We are just getting too big. We are very happy that all of you are here to celebrate this historic event with us. After a 37-year probationary period, the School of Nursing Camden was created by the University Board of Governors on June 14, 2011. That makes us almost 3 years old, and we have had a very busy 3rd year of life. We are at the threshold of incorporating nursing programs, students, faculty, and staff from the Stratford campus of the legacy UMDNJ School of Nursing into the Rutgers School of Nursing Camden, which will double the size of our faculty, staff, and student body. If all goes as planned, 800 students will be enrolled in the School of Nursing Camden next September. We've launched new degree programs, including a Doctor of Nursing practice at the graduate level and an accelerated baccalaureate nursing program at the undergraduate level. A PhD program is in the hopper. We've also launched a graduate-level certificate program in woundostomy continence nursing and plan to upgrade our school nursing certificate program to the graduate level next year. We're in the process of obtaining licensure for a school-based health and wellness center in collaboration with the LEAP Academy, which will serve as the mothership for faculty practice and additional community-based nurse-managed health centers in Camden City and the region. We had a ceremonial groundbreaking for our new nursing science building in October, and we are working with architects toward an occupancy date of July 2017. And we're in the process of chartering an alumni association specifically for the School of Nursing Camden so that our graduates will always have a home base at Rutgers-Camden. Our faculty will continue to teach, publish scholarly papers and books, conduct research, shape clinical practice, support the greater Camden community, and win awards in all of these areas. What's really nice is that many of our faculty stay connected to our graduates so that eventually our students become our colleagues. But we are here today to celebrate the achievements of our students, who in a few moments will be our graduates. Among them are 40 new nurses and 32 registered nurses who return to school to earn a baccalaureate degree. and they are an impressive group. 9 received academic awards at Convocation yesterday. 10 were inducted into the Athenaeum Honor Society of Rutgers-Camden. 22 were inducted into Sigma Theta Tau, the International Honor Society of Nursing. 21 earned GPAs that merit the distinction of graduating with honors. And members of the class of 2014 led the way in transforming the primary mission of the Rutgers-Camden Student Nurses Association from fundraising to hands-on service toward the betterment of the campus and surrounding community. When I talk to the chief nursing officers of hospitals and other clinical agencies about who they want to hire, they tell me to send them nurses with big brains and grit. Nurses with the analytic skills, mental agility, and resilience to deal with the complexities of nursing practice and to become leaders in our fast-paced, dynamic healthcare environment. And so, graduates, if this is the standard, every one of you will make the cut. You leave here with a wealth of knowledge and a clinical skill set. You've learned to think on your feet. In your time at Rutgers-Camden, you had the opportunity to observe a world-class leader, our departing Chancellor, Wendell Pritchett. On many occasions, he showed all of us leadership and advocacy at its best, well-reasoned, respectful, inclusive, and relentless. The School of Nursing Camden and you are part of his amazing legacy, and our admiration and gratitude to Chancellor Pritchett are enormous. Please join me in applauding Chancellor Pritchett. If we have a founding father, if the School of Nursing Camden has a founding father, it is Chancellor Pritchett. All right, graduates, today you join the large and distinguished ranks of Rutgers-Camden nurses. You are well prepared for the challenges and opportunities of a professional nursing career and graduate study. You have all worked hard and made sacrifices to earn the degrees that you are about to receive. As the mother of a 7-year-old, I am immersed these days in children's literature. So my hope for your journey through nursing and through life is that you embrace these words from the Lorax by Dr. Seuss. Unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing's going to get better. It's not. And something tells me that this message will not be lost on the class of 2014. As your dean, it is my privilege to be among the first to formally congratulate you, and I ask everyone to join me in applauding the Rutgers School of Nursing Camden class of 2014. None of today's graduates would be here without the support of family and friends, their parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, spouses, children, and other loved ones. So I ask our graduates to stand and join me in thanking and applauding all of their people on the home front. Rutgers deeply appreciates what you have done to support your loved ones who are graduating today. And as we proceed with the commencement ceremony, my final request to our graduates is to stay connected to your alma mater. We need your help to become the world-class School of Nursing that we believe is our destiny. We want you to be as proud of us tomorrow as we are of you today. And now I'm pleased to introduce our commencement speaker, Dr. Robert Hess. Dr. Hess is the Executive Vice President of Education, Content, and Credentialing for Gannett Healthcare Group. He is responsible for the development, marketing, and dissemination of continuing education to nurses and allied health professionals. Dr. Hess received his bachelor's degree from Temple University, his master's degree from Seton Hall University, and his doctoral degree from the School of Nursing at the University of Pennsylvania. An award-winning author, Dr. Hess is a leading investigator of shared governance, a model of nursing practice designed to achieve quality patient care and improve work environments for nurses. He's the creator of the Forum for Shared Governance, a clearinghouse for promoting and disseminating research about shared governance and similar organizational innovations that help empower nurses and other healthcare professionals in their workplaces. Dr. Hess has been published in numerous books and professional journals. He is a fellow of the American Academy of Nursing and has been a distinguished lecturer and writer for Sigma Theta Tau International, the International Nursing Honor Society. He is also a past recipient of the prestigious New Jersey Governor's Merit Award for Excellence as a Nurse Educator. With extraordinary pride and deep appreciation for his many contributions to nursing and healthcare, it is my pleasure to introduce our commencement speaker, Dr. Robert Hess.
Good afternoon, Chancellor Pritchett, Dean Robinson, Board of Trustee members, Mr. Mortensen, Ms. Dietrich, Mrs. Staniitis, Mr. Rears and Mr. Rhodes, faculty members, parents, and family members and graduates. It's an honor to stand before you today and read this paragraph that I didn't know I was going to have to read. I also want to say hello to my peeps at nurse.com and continuingeducation.com because the live stream's being watched by many of my friends in my company. In 1972, in the great country of South Jersey, a young man was casting about for his future. He had spent a few years working at a state psychiatric facility as an attendant, a job he enjoyed so much that he decided to become a nurse. With a college degree already, he thought he'd go back to university and finish his second degree. But he had a wife, a child, and no money. The nurses he admired the most told him that if he wanted to be the best clinical nurse he could be, he should go to a hospital diploma school. Well, that's changed. He applied to one, and the school not only accepted him, but provided jobs, evening work for himself, and even a night assignment for his wife, and scholarship and loan money to boot. 3 years later, he was out on the job market, secure enough in his clinical competence to successfully negotiate a job in critical care. That guy was me. I can't say that those years were easy. Several times a week, I crossed the street from the hospital to my apartment to change from a student's gold top to an orderly's blue top so I could work the evening shift. I could count the weekends in a year I didn't work on the fingers of one hand. Because I was a male student nurse, actually we're guy nurses, who worked as an orderly, I became the Foley man for any male patient who needed one in the whole hospital on the 3 to 11 shift. It's one way to get to know your patients. On a side note, as a man in nursing, I was part of the 2%. Now it's 11%. And if you're a man in nursing, you might want to join me in the Assembly for Men in Nursing, where we're shooting for 20% by 2020. During the program, I was rotated through every conceivable nursing setting, from traditional hospital units to V&As and Meals on Wheels, a youth detention center, and remarkably, as the third man ever admitted to the school, several afternoons of a GYN clinic, and a rotation through the very maternity ward where I had been born. Just picture me teaching infant bathing and football carry to a gaggle of veteran mothers from K&A in a well baby class. But I learned how to be a competent nurse. Not only that, but a complete and caring one, because the caring of nurses is taught in socialized behavior. and I had some incredible instructors. Several times in my career, I sat where you are, at the end of one journey and ready to begin the next. I was happy to be finally done with school. I know how hard it is to juggle your personal life with a student role, and I admire you for successfully negotiating it. However, this graduation is a landmark in your education, but it's probably not the last. You need to become lifelong students, one way or another. What I think you need to know and what you want to know is this. You're about to reap the gains of one of the best decisions you've ever made in your life. Sometime in the past, you decided to go back to school, and you had a dizzying array of choices. One thing you can bet on is that the program you selected changed your life in some way. By picking Rutgers School of Nursing Camden, you've won a career lottery. You have a world-class career foundation, an edge that many don't have. Almost 40 years ago, my diploma school prepared me to enter a measured, serene terrain with comfortable choices. But the land through which you guide your careers is frenetic and supercharged, a retooled, cyber-enhanced frontier that's blasted us out of a complacency to create new opportunities for healthcare professionals that are not even clear to our own leaders. But you can trust that your program has prepared you well. And you're entering a land of plenty. As consummate career strategists, you're gunning up your careers just when the most uncertain nursing shortage in the history of America will boil to a hot frenzy. For years, researchers predicted a shortage 4 times bigger than any other. That didn't quite happen. With a recent surge of young graduates, a delay in retirement by older nurses, and a looming consumption of health care by an aging population, no one really knows what's going to happen. But one thing is certain, a huge horde of baby boomers, read Bob Hess, are going to need you, and that spells shortage. About 30 years ago, I was a master's student in nursing administration at Seton Hall, taking classes in the evening and applying what I learned during the evening to my day job as a nursing director, the best of all possible worlds. 6 years later, I went back for another degree. For some of us, formal education doesn't end until a terminal degree is achieved. I was in my 40s, and I was one of the oldest students with my doctoral cohort at Penn. I had to quit my full-time job to complete the core courses. I remember when I got home on the first day, there was a black knapsack on the breakfast room table. I asked my wife, who's over here, what that was for. And she told me, I want you to look like all the other kids. I tried to fit in. Many of you should go on to complete DNP or PhD programs. That was one of the hardest but most rewarding things I've ever done in my life. Because of that degree, doors opened that I didn't even know were there. But there are doors that you don't want to know about, like walking into a hospital as a patient, and believe me, being a nurse does not prepare you to be one. That was evident to me even before I got to Cooper University Hospital here in Camden for the repair of my abdominal aortic aneurysm last year. As a former critical care nurse with years of experience, I began to ready myself for this not-so-elective procedure days in advance. On a conceptual level only, that is, when I found out when I was admitted. I'm a happy, half-full type of guy, but when the anesthesiologist approached me and said he wanted to take me in a room and put something like an IV in my artery, I almost bolted. You want to put an art line in me? I squawked. As the reality set in that I was about to become a critical care patient myself, I was somewhere between anxious and terrified. But I did as my colleagues had advised me, and I gave myself over to the process and the professionals in place. I'm glad I did. I'm a competitive ballroom dancer, I'm a golfer, and I've had a lot of procedures in the past years trying to stay healthy and do those things and live forever like the rest of my baby boomer friends. The striking component of my patient experience was the nurses. I didn't encounter a single nurse who wasn't everything I idolize in our profession. I'm not naive, this is just what I experienced. With the aneurysm, the nursing care I received was expert, effective, caring, and phenomenal. I can be a great critic when it comes to nursing and uniquely situated to judge, according to Bob. In particular, Holly, simply a great nurse, took care of me for 12 long hours through the night of my operation. I had a few glitches with pre-existing problems and a squirrely mean arterial pressure, about which I hammered her, but she handled those issues and me deftly. She kept me comfortable, safe, and informed as she cared for me, a worried nurse caught in the patient role. How great is that? I told her I'd be carrying her praises around in my extensive national and international contacts for some time. Like many of our colleagues, so focused on her work, she didn't seem to care. But today is about you, and I'm never more proud than to be in front of students who are about to become professionals, or professionals getting their degree. As I consume healthcare like a bandit, I give thanks to you for being my colleagues, and even more gratitude knowing that some of you might be my nurse. Thanks for that. I think this is the point where I'm supposed to impart some points of wisdom. So here are 3 that I'll leave you with. 1, never stop learning. Whether it's continuing education, casual learning, or formal academic programs, you need to go back to school forever. The smartest, happiest nurses I know are those who went back to school until they just couldn't do it anymore and still continued their education. My PhD is the smartest thing I ever did in my career. 2, life is like high school. Work on being popular. It's not enough in the professional job market to be smart and credentialed. There's a lot of you out there. But people hire the people they like. Learn how to get people to like you. Finally, 3, learn to lead by associating with leaders. Pathways to leadership can be different, but research has shown that the most important element in becoming a leader is the influence of other leaders. Put people with leadership potential around leaders, and they will breed new leaders like rabbits. As a professional nurse, you should pursue leadership. It will give you a rare perspective on healthcare and access to the best circle of healthcare professionals. The happiest professionals I know are those who are fully engaged in learning, popular with others, and surrounded by the best colleagues. Take these simple truths with your newly minted diploma from Rutgers School of Camden, and you'll be assured a world-class career. It's an honor to be here. Congratulations. Thank you.
You can always count on Dr. Hess to knock it out of the park, and I think he just did that for us. So thank you so much. All right, I would now like to invite Chancellor Pritchett to the podium to begin the granting of degrees.
Thank you, Dean Robinson. Class of 2014, how we doing? Oh, come on. This is a big deal. You can do a lot better than that. How we doing? All right, let's get started. Dean Robinson, as Chancellor of the Rutgers University-Camden campus, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors and the Board of Trustees of the University, I hereby accept the candidates for degrees from the Rutgers School of Nursing, Camden.
Thank you. All right. Here we go. Will the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing please rise? Upon the recommendation of the School of Nursing Camden faculty, and by virtue of the authority vested in me by Chancellor Pritchett and the boards of governors and trustees of Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Science in Nursing with all the rights, privileges, obligations, and immunities appertaining thereto here and elsewhere. Please be seated. And I now ask Dr. Lynn Barucki, she's already there, to come to the podium. Okay, will each candidate come up to the podium as your name is called? Don't be shy.
Jamie Gunsday, summa cum laude. Bonnie Bell Arojo, cum laude. Shade Bailey. Shade also receives a degree in psychology. Crystal Barton, cum laude. Ryan Brinker, summa cum laude. Allison Butler.
Love you, Mom and Dad.
Alicia Calderon. Gillis Cannon. Amanda Carocchio, with a minor in anthropology. Shelby Casey. Ashley Celeste, summa cum laude. Danny Chen. Caitlin Collins, a second major of psychology, summa cum laude. Alyssa Cooper, magna cum laude. Erin Coulter. Rebecca Garrett. Avraham Gittler, magna cum laude. Denise Gold. Meredith Grimmel. Umran Gangur Perkin, thank you, magna cum laude. Sarah Henley. Nicholas Hoffman. Nikki Kember, with a second major in psychology. Peter Kim. Joanna Koromi. Tamar Lees. Catherine Marlette, magna cum laude. Anna Maria McGeehan. Ashley Mueller, cum laude. Dennis Nelisoff, magna cum laude. Alexander Ng. Elizabeth Okwamba. Elisa Panchal, magna cum laude. David Pierce, summa cum laude. Emily Pyle, summa cum laude. Lee Rao, with a minor in psychology, summa cum laude. Brittany Reap, with a minor in psychology. Rachel Russell, cum laude. Rosalia Roach. Casey Robinson, magna cum laude with a minor in psychology. Lena Robinson. Sheila Roquefort. Krista Rodriguez. Sylvia Reba. Nicole Schmidt, magna cum laude. Jonathan Sepe, cum laude. Alyssa Serva. Rosita Shemardanova. Angel Simpkins. Catherine Tudeja. Xavier Humali. Nicole Welling. Eleni Wooster, cum laude. Christine Yaman, magna cum laude. And Michael Wavorka.
As everyone makes their way to their seat, let's just applaud them one more time. I think we have a photo op going on off stage here, so we'll just take a little break here. Maybe we can resume after the ceremony, or? I guess we want to get this in. Yes. They're almost done. They're almost finished. Yeah. Yeah, after. Come back after. Anyone who did not get their picture taken formally by the photographer, please proceed to the stage after the ceremony, and we'll get this done really quickly. And I think while we have everyone in the room and on stage or in front of the audience, it is now my honor to present the graduates of the Rutgers School of Nursing Camden class of 2014. Graduates, it's time to move your tassel. Congratulations, you have all graduated. All right, I now ask Dr. Claudia Beckman, Associate Dean for Graduate and Professional Programs, to present our student speakers from the class of 2014. Dr. Beckman.
Thank you, Dean Robinson, parents, graduates, fellow faculty, chancellor, and distinguished guests. I would like to introduce our speaker from the class of 2014 RNBS program, Michael Wavorka. Michael received his associate degree in nursing from Ocean County Community College and presently works in the intensive care unit at Community Medical Center in Toms River, New Jersey. He is one of this year's recipients of the Nursing Management and Leadership Clinical Excellence Award from the School of Nursing Camden. Michael was recognized for his consistent demonstration of leadership throughout the RNBS program, both in the community and within the classroom. Congratulations.
Thank you. Welcome, Chancellor Pritchett, Dean Robinson, members of the Rutgers Board of Governors and Trustees, Dr. Hess, faculty, students, friends, staff, honored guest, Barack Obama, just kidding, and of course my fellow graduates. It is a great honor to speak to all of you today. Today is a day for celebration as we end one chapter in our lives and begin a new one. We must move onward into the world, explore our passions, and grab a hold of our futures. This day would not have been attainable without our dedicated professors and our incredible families. Your continued support that has often been taken for granted provided us with the strength and courage to make it here today. Thank you so much. Our chosen profession is recognized for being a noble one, as nurses render care to complete strangers in their most desperate times of need. We all have succeeded in the various courses of nursing school and acquired knowledge necessary to provide competent provisional care. However, is this what truly defines a nurse? The knowledge that he or she possesses? Oscar Wilde once said, "Education is an admirable thing, but it is well to remember from time to time that nothing worth knowing can be taught." I believe this holds true to the nursing profession. Although nursing requires a vast knowledge base and a unique level of critical thinking skills, there are certain aspects of the job that cannot be taught. Most importantly, having heart. The heart to advocate for your patient's wishes, the heart to do the best you can every day, and the heart to truly care. That is the essence of nursing. In the beginning of my nursing career, I walked onto my unit with the mindset that I was able to take on anything that was thrown my way. I distinctly remember my very first day off of orientation at my new job. I received a report from the previous shift about my patient and went into the room to do an initial assessment. This particular woman was in her 80s and was completely oriented, or so I assumed. After introducing myself, my patient asked what the visiting hours were, so I responded with the set hours. Then she proceeded to tell me how she had been waiting for her mom to get there all day. I didn't really play into this, as I figured the patient was a little confused. I mean, logically, the patient's mom would have been about 100 years old by now. Lo and behold, around 8 p.m., I see this elderly woman walking with a walker coming down the hall and enter my patient's room. I thought to myself, no way. So I casually went into the room to assess the situation. It was her mom. Lesson learned, never make assumptions. If there are any tidbits of advice I could offer to you as you begin your careers or even continue them, it would be these. 1, always follow your instincts, no matter how overcautious they may seem. Intuition is a nurse's most reliable attribute. It is more than acceptable to ask questions. Err on the side of caution. Never feel intimidated when speaking with doctors. You are part of a team that is collaboratively working together. Oftentimes, the smallest actions are the ones that leave a lasting impression, whether that is offering a patient an extra blanket or placing a cool cloth on the forehead of someone who is febrile. Lastly, find your niche. Nursing offers so many opportunities. Find the opportunity that is right for you. Sometimes this takes a little trial and error. For instance, I knew after my clinical rotation in maternity that I would never be a maternity nurse. Surprisingly, providing tips on breastfeeding to new mothers didn't seem very appropriate to me. Fellow graduates, it is with great hope that each new chapter in your life is filled with rewarding experiences and defining moments. Remember, the past only defines how you arrived at this point, and where you go from here is yet another journey. I leave you with these last few words. Just be. Be courageous, willing, and thoughtful. Be compassionate, funny, and respectful. And above all, be proud of your accomplishments. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Now I would like to introduce a pre-licensure class of 2014 graduate, Jamie Agunste. Before coming to Rutgers School of Nursing Camden, Jamie earned a bachelor's degree in nutrition from the University of Delaware and a master's degree in sociology from the University of Central Florida. While at the School of Nursing Camden, Jamie represented her class as the public relations officer for the Rutgers-Camden Student Nurses Association. She was instrumental in spearheading many community projects, including the Clothesline Project, an event on campus that brought attention to the issue of domestic violence. As a married student and a mother of a 3-year-old daughter, Jamie maintained a 4.0 GPA and Dean's List status each semester. She was inducted into Eta Mu chapter of Sigma Theta Tau, the International Nursing Honor Society, and is graduating today with honors. Jamie has worked at Cooper University Hospital and hopes to get a position as a nurse working with underserved women and their families. Please welcome Jamie Agunste.
Good morning, Chancellor Pritchett, Dean Robinson, members of the Rutgers Board of Governors, trustees, Dr. Hess, distinguished faculty, staff, family, friends, and my fellow graduates. I'm so honored to stand here before you today on this exciting day. It is a rare student who graduates nursing school without a great deal of support from others, and I would be remiss if I did not take a brief moment to thank my own family for their support on this difficult but wonderful journey. My parents, in-laws, siblings, their spouses, and of course, my husband and sweet daughter. Thank you for inspiring me and helping me get here today. Like most of us here, my family is the center of my life. My parents, who have been married for 44 years tomorrow, have a saying framed on their wall of their house. It says, "There are 2 things you give your children. One is roots, the other is wings." This saying reminds me a lot of what it means to be a nurse as well. It is now our life's work to help our patients build their new foundations, to educate them how to manage a newly diagnosed condition, to teach new parents the tools to care for their new baby, to help a family make difficult decisions about the care of their seriously ill loved one. And as nurses, we are lucky to see our patients successfully navigate their new circumstances. We can be proud when our patient shows us the proper way to administer their own medication, or when we watch a new mom and dad set off for their first trip home as a family. And we can know that even when a patient does not survive, we were fortunate to help them move towards their peace with dignity. I have been so honored to get to know my fellow graduates over the past few years. What I have learned about this extraordinary group of people is that our foundation as nurses, our roots, were planted with our own personal experiences. Many of us were nursing long before we ever came to school. We loved and helped and guided our grandparents who were declining, our siblings who struggled with addiction, our moms and dads who have endured illness while taking care of our families. A few of us have buried our parents. Among us are those who have survived cancer, and some who have been inspired to help others by our own experiences with illness and recovery. Many of us have loved and helped and guided our own babies. Among our group of 40 students, we have at least 9 children, and one almost ready to be born. As graduates, we can leave here knowing we were given a strong foundation for our nursing practice by our dedicated professors, clinical instructors, and administrators. We stand on the shoulders of all the nurses who came before us, who shaped policy and research and set the standards of care that make the nurses the most trusted professionals. Our professors have taught us to be our patients' advocates. They've taught us to think with our eyes, our ears, our hands, and our hearts. They have seen us develop our nursing judgment, watched as we made mistakes of our own and tried to fix them by ourselves. And today, they celebrate our achievements. My fellow graduates, we have our roots. They run deep, grounding our lives and our nursing practices, holding us up strong from below while we grow. But our roots are not our destiny. They are only the base upon which we learn to stand. Today, we finally earn our wings, and it's our day to take flight. From here, we choose where to fly, which winds to follow, and which to fly against. Our paths are only limited by our own vision. My final thought is something I have come to realize over the past few years. One of the first patients I ever cared for was a terminally ill retired nurse. She said something to me that I hopefully will not ever forget. She said, "Jamie, we get old too fast and smart too late." I have learned that time is our currency. It is expensive and it is precious, and once it is spent, we cannot get it back. Invest your time wisely with people who love you, who love you back. Spend your time doing work that you love, that fulfills your passions. And if you are going to spend your time at work and away from your family, make it worthwhile. Strive to be excellent every day for your family, for your patients, and for yourself. My wish for all of us is that we take the time we have and do great things with it. Congratulations to my fellow graduates of the Rutgers School of Nursing Camden and your families. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share my thoughts today.
Our heartfelt thanks to both of our student speakers for their inspirational talks. Finally, it is my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Scott Owens, the Director of Alumni Relations, Camden.
Good afternoon, graduates of the class of 2014. My name is Scott Owens, and I'm proud to say that I'm also a graduate of Rutgers University-Camden, class of 2004 and 2010, and I serve as your Director of Alumni Relations right here in Camden. On behalf of the Rutgers University Alumni Association, it is such a pleasure to welcome you to the next phase of your lifelong relationship with Rutgers. I know that many of you parents here in the audience today are proud to be Rutgers alumni yourselves, so thank you for each of you here. And for you, it's truly a special thing to watch your own son or daughter join the Rutgers alumni family. I look forward to doing the same one day myself, even though my son is only 3, but he will attend Rutgers. Today, all of us are here to celebrate you, every single one of you right up here, and you too. We're here to celebrate your accomplishments, your contributions, and your future. You are now joining a network of 450,000 alumni spread out across the nation and around the world. The RUAA is the embodiment of Jersey roots, global reach, and we are eager to welcome each of you to be an active member, to stay connected, to volunteer, and to give back to the university in a way that is meaningful to you. We need your brains, your heart, your courage, your ideas, and your passion. We need them in our communities, our hospitals, medical offices, and classrooms, and we need them as a part of the Rutgers University Alumni Association. For the last several years, you have been a part of an academic community that nurtured and enriched your ideas, and I'm so proud to welcome you into the alumni community that will do more of the same. Congratulations again, class of 2014, and welcome to the Rutgers University Alumni Association.
Thanks, Scott, for welcoming our graduates into the Alumni Association. And in closing, I would like to thank all of you for joining us here today for our commencement ceremony, and we look forward to many more. I ask the audience to please remain in your seats until the conclusion of the recessional, and then please join us for a reception honoring our graduates in the lounge of the Campus Center. Thank you.